Summer is a time for fun and relaxation, but what happens when the pool you're swimming in has a dark history? This is often the case with haunted pools. These bodies of water have seen their fair share of tragedy, whether accidents, drownings, or even sinister events. In this video, we'll explore some of the most chilling haunted pool stories worldwide. So, let's get started. Here's a little tale about my swimming adventure. I commonly frequented a nearby community center for my swims, but this past autumn it was closed for renovation. Consequently, I had to find an alternative venue, River Grove Community Center, which is a tad farther than I would prefer. Even though it was refurbished earlier the same year, it was worth a visit. The center houses an Olympic-sized swimming pool with 6 distinct lanes. 2 of these lanes on each outer edge are reserved for classes, while the middle 2 are exclusive for adults. What keeps these lanes separate is a line of buoyant dividers. To cross them, you would need to dive under. Now, these mid-lanes are designed for swimmers who can master the full stretch of the pool. The rule of the lanes is pretty straightforward. You either follow the person swimming in front of you, or wait until the person opposite arrives at the end before venturing. This tactic ensures there are no mid-pool collisions and other such problems. As for the changing rooms, they are conveniently situated just a brisk 30 steps away from the pool's edge. Once you're done dipping, you can exit via the stairs at the deeper end of the pool, where there are only a pair, mind you. Picture this: it's winter in Canada, and a group of people have gathered to enjoy the indoor pool facilities. There are approximately 6 to 8 adults split between 2 designated swimming lanes. A varied mix of individuals, both men and women, enjoy the warm, inviting pool. As a woman myself, I found myself observing the other swimmers of my own gender particularly. In this sea of people, a lady in a unique gray and white striped swimsuit caught my eye. Another lady sported a vibrant purple swim cap. As minutes passed, with an immersed focus on these characters, I found myself at the shallow end of the pool. At this stage, I noticed the lady with the purple cap swimming in my direction. As I patiently waited for her to reach the end of the pool before taking my turn, I watched her approach. The bobbing of the purple cap marked her steady progress, rising and sinking rhythmically with each stroke. A wave of anticipation played in the water as she neared, finally reaching about 5 or 6 strokes away from my stand. But then, something strange happened. The pool's water suddenly became calm and tranquil, and the purple cap vanished. Puzzled, I waited for a moment, then, feeling a surge of worry, swam toward where she should have been. My thoughts were racing. Perhaps she had a cramp or some sudden issue. Frantically, I scrutinized the depths of the water, squinted down the other pool lanes, and even scanned the edge of the pool. But there was no sign of the purple cap lady. She couldn't have simply left the pool so quickly. It was practically impossible. I examined the other lanes, filled with a scattering of other adults and kids, but no purple cap in sight. How could she disappear within 5 seconds? Besides, who would leave the pool mid-swim? This bizarre incident has etched itself in my memory since last week, causing me a great deal of concern. I even tried researching whether there were any swimming accidents or drownings in that area, but I found nothing. Her sudden disappearance remains a mystery to me, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what happened that day. Back in the golden days of summer, my buddy James and I often spent our free time at the local community center in our neighborhood. With not much else to do, we would always end up diving into the big pool available there, especially when the sun was shining in its full glory. The only downside to this perfect summer routine was that the pool shut its gates at 5 p.m. when the sun was still having a blast, and we weren't ready to call it a day. We would cling to the pool every day until the lifeguards shooed us off and secured the place. Yet, no matter how hard we tried to persuade them, they were quite strict about their rules. Eventually, our frustration led us to devise our own plan. The pool gate was low enough for a quick jump, and the fence around it was mostly out of sight. Therefore, we thought that if there was nobody around at night watching the security feed intently, we could secretly gain access and have the whole place to ourselves. All we needed was a little courage to sneak in. After a few days of contemplation and chickening out, one night we decided to go ahead with our daring plan. We waited until late at night, around 11 p.m., to rendezvous in my backyard and cautiously make our way to the community center. Seeing no one around, we considered the coast clear. He boosted James, hopped over the gate first, followed by me. Being this sneaky gave us a rush of thrill, but we felt secured by the fence and the surrounding darkness. We stripped down to our swimming gear and jumped into the water, quietly and carefully, so as not to alert anyone nearby. Without the lifeguards to stop us, we could finally do all the tricks we were barred from doing. James went first while I judged his performance. He enthusiastically ran, jumped high into the air, and plunged into the water with the cannonball. But when he surfaced, he was in a state of sheer panic. Despite my hurry to calm him down, his frantic gestures and stammering words did little to explain what had terrified him so much. All he could do was point towards the pool's deep end with an expression of absolute horror. Curiosity overcoming me, I dove in, plunging through the murky water towards the deep end where he was pointing. As I descended, an odd shape came into focus. As I got closer, I realized with a heart-dropping realization that it was a woman. A sense of fear shot through me, and I swam away with all my might, the woman latching onto my arm in a death grip. I managed to break free and emerged from the pool, gasping for air. James and I could barely come to terms with what we saw. As we heard voices around the community center, we thought it was the parents from our neighborhood coming to scold us. Fearful of getting caught, we hurriedly left the place, promising never to return. We convinced ourselves that it was probably some prankster in a gruesome costume trying to scare us. However, we couldn't shake off the chill we felt. A week later, we learned from the local news that a decaying body of a woman was found in the same pool, alleged to have drowned there a week before our infamous nighttime adventure. The thought of having unknowingly spent our summer with such a horrifying secret lingering just beneath the surface still haunts us to this day. Once upon a time, Grant and his loving family decided to uproot their lives from the quiet comfort of their home in a peaceful village, Serene Village, instead choosing the energetic thrill of city life. However, the city's fast-paced lifestyle led to some financial struggles, nudging Grant to pick up multiple jobs at various places throughout the day. Eventually, and perhaps it was fate, he landed a job at a respected swimming academy known for its high caliber of coaching and facilities. The job was relatively stress-free, with one main duty: thoroughly cleaning the swimming pools after the evening coaching sessions that ended at 10 at night, so everything was sparkling clean and ready for the eager students who came for their training at 4 in the morning. However, on his first night at the job, Grant was about to have a chilling experience. One of the interesting features of this renowned academy in the United States was that it had several pools. Grant was given the responsibilities of pool number 7. On his debut night, Grant arrived early and stayed around till the coaching for the kiddies wrapped up in pool number 7. Among the joyous sounds and laughter of the children, Grant's attention was diverted towards a dimly lit corner. He spotted a young girl standing there, looking at the calm water that mirrored the moonlight. The pool manager's interruption brought him back to reality, but he couldn't completely shake off his curiosity. When he looked back, he found that the girl had disappeared. This unexpected disappearance stirred intrigue in Grant, so he thoroughly scrutinized the area around and inside the pool. However, the enigmatic girl seemed to have vanished without a trace. As he was indulged in his thoughts, the manager called him to discuss his duties. As Grant started his cleaning tasks around midnight, he found himself in the eerie silence of the pool area. Feeling a little tired from the cleaning, he noticed a reflection near the door, an unusual sight at such a late hour. He tried calling out, but his words were met with silence. Growing a little anxious, he decided to pause his cleaning duties and investigate the source of the reflection. Upon reaching the door, he was met with the same girl he had seen earlier near the pool. She quickly ran away, and she disappeared again, despite his attempts to follow her. Even with the security guard's help, no trace of the girl was found. As he resumed his work, he felt a strange movement in the water. He dismissed it, thinking it could be an insect. After cleaning, he inspected the pool one last time, ensuring it was perfectly tidy for the morning coaching. But to his ghastly surprise, he found the lifeless body of a young girl floating beneath the surface in a hauntingly peaceful manner. The dreadful realization sunk in. It was the same girl he'd seen earlier. In his fearful state, he ended up in the pool, and he felt as though someone was gripping his legs, trying to pull him deeper into the water. Despite his frantic efforts and loud screams, he felt himself drowning. When he regained consciousness, he was surrounded by morning students and the security guard. The mysterious girl was nowhere in sight. His fear washed over him, causing tears to start rolling down his cheeks. After sharing his terrifying encounter, a young boy reveals a tragic tale about a girl named Alberta. The boy informed Grant that Alberta, a brilliant swimmer of the academy, had drowned in pool number 7 a year ago. Apparently, Alberta was pushed into the pool in a fit of jealousy by another girl and had a severe concussion, which led to her unexpected demise. Knowing the truth left Grant in utter shock. The idea that a spirit was responsible for his terrifying experience was bone-chilling. He couldn't shake off the frightful image of the girl's face, so he quit his job the next day, developing an overwhelming fear of water. After leaving the job, Grant continued to have nightmares about that night, making him believe that Alberta's spirit was still haunting pool number 7. Let me share a story about the swimming pool where I work, which took place around 8 years ago. It's said to be haunted, so grab some popcorn, sit back, and allow me to take you on a journey back to 2008. I've been a head lifeguard at this enormous local swimming pool for quite some time. It's not an ordinary pool. It's like the grand shopping hub of swimming pools, the biggest in town. It has an Olympic-sized pool, an outdoor pool with slides, and an indoor pool with slides. My job includes managing the other lifeguards, ensuring the pool chemicals are okay, and opening and closing the facility. There's an eerie rumor that our pool is haunted by a little girl. However, I've never witnessed anything unusual until a peculiar incident that happened one day. The day started as usual. The only noteworthy thing was my colleague Abby's sharing of her disturbing dream. In her dream, she couldn't save a drowning boy who was always just out of reach and felt a cold hand pulling her down into the pool's depth. It scared her, but we dismissed it as just a nightmare. However, later in the day, the exact event of Abby's dream happened. A boy jumped off the high dive and began drowning, and Abby had to save him. She was shaken afterward and revealed that it was the same boy from her dream. Though spooked, we brushed it off as a strange coincidence. The night arrived, and a similar dream haunted me, this one involving me being pulled down by a cold, dead hand. I mentioned it to Abby the next day, and she looked as concerned as I felt. She then shared another terrifying dream she had, involving a fully dressed elderly man floating face down in the pool, who pulled her under when she tried to exit the facility after everyone had left. Time passed slowly, filled with anxiety about what would happen that night. When it was time to close the pool, nothing seemed to be out of place. Nevertheless, as I checked the pool's chemical levels, I felt a creepy sensation, like being watched. I forced myself to check the tank, but thankfully, it was empty. Suddenly, a loud clang came from the Olympic pool. Paralyzed with fear, I saw a shadow of a man by the entrance. I immediately ran out of the facility, my car refusing to start. That's when I saw a silhouette of a man standing outside near the pool. The temperature dropped, as if I was in a deep freezer. Finally, the car started, and I drove home fast. Once home, I felt a sense of relief, until I heard heavy footsteps coming up the stairs toward my room. The footsteps stopped outside the bathroom, where I had hidden myself. I was so scared that I spent the night in the bathroom. Since that incident, sleep has been hard to come by, and nightmares are common. So that's my spooky tale, full of strange dreams and scary experiences that continue to give me chills to this day. So, these were some of the spine-tingling ghost stories from various corners of the world. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. And if you have any spooky stories of your own, we would love to hear them in the comments below.